The first phase is love bombing, idealisation sometimes we can call it. And it's an intense, overwhelming wave of affection, attention and validation at the start of a relationship. It will feel intoxicating. Constant texts, grand gestures, compliments, and a sense that you have finally been seen and understood. It's a deliberate tactic by an abuser, what I call behavioural narcissist, BN for short. And they are there to quickly build dependency and trust so that later abuse will be tolerated and you will be bonded to them. You know, one of the questions I'm often asked is if they know what they're doing when they are so cruel. Some people actually believe they're unaware of what they're doing. They're unaware of the cruelty. I must say very clearly to you, of course they do. Their personality type believes all they have to do is bully to get their own way, and this to them is success in life, having their own way. Do not feel alone. Your feelings are what anyone would feel in the situation you are in. You're not alone out there. This podcast will help you start to think about how you deal with it from now on. So knowing when love bombing ends and the real abuser emerges is crucial for protecting yourself, understanding what happened and making some informed choices as you go forward. So briefly, let's look at how the love bombing works. The abuser accelerates emotional intimacy. He declares or she declares intense feelings early in the relationship, and they are push for your commitment. You're placed on a pedestal and treated as unique, perfect, or the only one that gets them. You may miss it, but warmth and devotion are paired with a subtle test. Compliance is rewarded with even more idealization. The abuser, the BN, may encourage distance from friends and family while offering constant availability of themselves. Excuse me. There are some common turning points here that will signal that the mask of the honeymoon is ending. There will be a withdrawal of what you have seen as affection. The barrage of text, calls, compliments, and attention will start to taper off or change in its content, away from affection and to making sure they know where you are and with whom you are with. Later in the cycle, they may stop altogether, but that is likely much nearer a time when they may be considering discarding you. Your perception of events and life in general are minimized or dismissed. Statements like, "You're overreacting," or "You're too sensitive," or even "That never happened," are going to replace your validation that you were receiving. They also begin to devalue you. Not just take away the validation, but they start to devalue as well. You are criticized or blamed for problems that were not yours to begin with. They become inconsistent by making promises and plans. Also, your boundaries are ignored, and their stories or explanations of their behaviour do not add up. They may accuse you of infidelity or flirtation despite having acted in ways that attracted or kept you isolated. At the same time, realize that most abusers, behavioural narcissists, have a very loose attachment to common morals, so they could be blaming you for their own infidelity. Your emotions may well be in turmoil by now. I don't want to belittle these feelings, but remember that you are not alone. This is a very common act, but like I say, not to belittle each unique one. You will be confused and carry some extra self-doubt now. You constantly replay interactions, trying to understand what changed and asking whether you are the problem. You become anxious about triggering needs or opinions for fear of the reciprocal anger, the withdrawal or the punishment. Your apparent loss of autonomy means you feel that your choices are being narrowed. Of course, with this you will experience guilt and shame. You feel responsible for their moods and even explain to others that their moods are your fault. Think about that for a moment. They make changes as their initial mask that bonded you is too heavy to maintain, and their bombing attention has done the job. You are now bonded, so they have no need now to be nice to you. They can just be themselves. And this is where you must realize that everything they do or say is to manipulate you. You are to be their audience, not a love affair at all. This love is not a two-way street. They are not capable of loving someone as you now do. There will now be repeated boundary violations despite clear statements of limits. Emotional, financial and sexual coercion is used to get compliance. Lies and manipulation are used to justify behaviour or shift blame away from them and onto you or anyone else they can target for that matter. You will feel less emotionally, financially and socially you are less safe. But the biggest problem is if you feel physically unsafe because of their behaviour. It will be difficult, but you need to trust your own perception. Confusion and blame are common effects of manipulation, and your feelings and observations are valid. Please remember here that you should hold no guilt or shame about what is happening to you right now. You are currently a victim of abuse. What we need to do is turn you into a survivor of abuse. Try to avoid arguing or trying to reason with someone whose goal is control. Some of my colleagues call this grey rocking. Be neutral and non-reactive, and reducing any emotional input to a conversation with them can diminish their leverage. Now, I have an old saying that I rescued from an anon from the States years ago, and it's valid here, and this is what it is. Never wrestle with a pig. You'll get dirty and the pig will love it. So play down interaction. I was talking to a new client only this morning about exactly this. Play down, because otherwise the cycle of abuse goes upwards. It's an upward spiral. So where before they left last time with getting close to you and shouting, that is where the next round of abuse will start, and it goes up and up until you are unsafe. I would suggest you're unsafe at that point. So, what do? Keep records. Document everything you can. Keep records of abusive messages, controlling behaviours, gaslighting examples. Financial controls, threats, they're all useful for legal later, but actually for safety planning. Speaking of which, I encourage you to make a safety plan. If there is any risk of escalation, and I'm telling you that is always the case, there's always escalation, this could end up with physical violence. Plan for safe exits. Pack a few essentials and inform a trusted person or situation if you are absolutely sure they are not going to report to your abuser. What we might call a flying monkey or an enabler. If you're not sure about people, you're not absolutely sure, don't tell them. But what you should do is seek out local domestic violence resources. If you can, also seek professional help. A therapist experienced in abusive relationships like me can help or reorient your self-view and plan the next steps. I'm not the only chap around. But look for someone with experience in this area of work. Some may say they are, but actually they're not. Now, you may plan to leave or stay and take some of your life back. Either way, you should try to rebuild your identity, rediscover who you are, but remember, you're stronger than ever. So, to summarise, the shift from love bombing to abuse is often subtle at first and then unmistakable. The person who once made you feel uniquely loved begins to make you feel diminished, controlled, and likely unsafe. Recognising the pattern, trusting your experience, and taking practical steps to protect yourself and rebuild are the most important actions you can take. Remember, in life, it's all temporary. If you give someone something the title of temporary, you realise that there is an end. Now, like I said, I'd see clients online, and if you wish to contact me, there is a website called rayfreemanpsychotherapy.com. On that website, if you wish, you can join and become a member. There is much more exclusive content from me on that website to members. There's a growing YouTube channel which I would love you to like, please. And you will also find me on Instagram and Facebook. But the main areas are, if you want to talk or you want to join or you want more information, the website and YouTube for more podcasts. Okay. If you are in this circumstance and this situation, you know you can come out of this. You may need some help, but that's okay. We can all ask for help occasionally. That doesn't make you look weak, it makes you look strong. Knowing that you have limitations is strength, not weakness. So do your best. If you need help, reach out for it. If you don't, I wish you every success. And I will be on with the third section of this series very shortly. In the meantime, thank you for listening.